Joining us now by Zoom, offering some insight, is Brian Tunnell with RentMonster. Thanks for joining us this morning, Brian.
Hey, good morning, Mike.
All right, so before we talk locally, I'm sure you've seen the reports of this recent trend. What do you think is driving that?
Well, this is a response to the construction that we had, huge construction boom that we had for quite a long time. This ran through big double-digit rent growth we saw in 21, 22 through the pandemic. The thing you have to keep in mind is when you're building these apartment communities, it takes years. A lot of these big developments takes a long time. So the ones that were penciled back then, that were coming out of the ground a little later, were getting built a little later. Some of those are still coming to market right now. We're coming to the end of that across the country. So we've seen it sort of slowly flatten out from one market to another. Birmingham's been flat for a good while now. We're year over year pretty flat rent growth. So we're not quite as overbuilt as the overall market, but we're a little overbuilt right now here in Birmingham.
So prices on average. So prices on average in Birmingham, they're pretty much stable right now.
They are, yeah. The year over year right now is minus 0.2%, so nothing.
And
it's basically flat.
And vacancies pretty much the same as well.
No, vacancy's up. Now we've seen the absorption's been what's pushing rents down. So vacancy's up. Vacancy's super high right now in Birmingham. We're at about 13%. That's the highest we've seen in over a decade, at least, probably longer than that. That's pretty high, and that's all this stuff coming on. It's being absorbed. There's some gorgeous communities out there. That's the great news, and a lot of this hitting the market. If you're in one of the submarkets in Birmingham that happens to have seen a lot of construction lately and happens to have seen a lot of really good quality deliveries lately, then your rents are probably down a little bit, actually. We're seeing about a 3 to 5% reduction in areas like Bessemer, Fairfield, Homewood even. You wouldn't expect that, but rents are actually down just a tad in Homewood, 3 to 5%. And that's just new units coming on the market. It's just a lot more units coming on the market a little faster than people are there to absorb them.
All right, as we wrap up here, just reading the tea leaves, if you will, where do you see the trends going into early next year in our area?
Well, this is a trend that's, we're steering a battleship here when you're trying to find equilibrium in a large multifamily market like this. So it's going to be pretty slow to turn, and it'll move gradually. So we're probably a couple more quarters at least before we start to see this shift in the other direction. Right now, though, it's a great time to find an apartment, and I think it will continue to be for the foreseeable future. We'll see how we look coming into summer. That's going to be the big factor. That's when the rental market comes, and how many units are on the market at that time.
All right, that is Brian Tunnell with RentMonster. Brian, we do appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
You bet, Mike.
All right, Janae?